All right, I'm giving the Eagles a hall pass for last week. You get one. But now it's time to exact a little revenge. Oh, no. I'd like that a little bit. Mike Owens and Jeremy Burton are both here. I'm Adrian. Thank you. Time to break down Week 6, Eagles and Skins. Pretty much a must-win, honestly, with a 7-game stretch looming afterwards. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we still have, a bitter taste in our mouth after that Lions game still. I mean, even before the show here, we were talking about this Lions game for a good 15 minutes because we're still just so pissed off about it. Just so many things went wrong in that game. A lot of adjustments need to be made going into this Redskins game. And, what was going to be, just a game at Washington, NFC East game, big game, now turns into a really big game with last week's loss against the Lions. And like you said, a lot of tough games coming up for the Eagles here. So the Eagles really need to get this victory and improve the 4-1 because there's such a difference between 4-1 and 3-2 at this point. And especially with the way that the Cowboys are playing, the Eagles need to keep pace with the Cowboys.
Hey, first divisional game. You're right. This is a must-win. Yeah, we're 2-0 against the AFC opponents, but now it puts us to 1-1 in the conference. Can't fall to 1-2 in the conference. Every NFC game is critical, especially in the NFC East. We've seen improvement from the Cowboys look good. We gotta if we want to play in January, these are the games you gotta win. I'm still so pissed about that Lions loss. I can go on for a long time about that, but I won't. Gotta give them a hall pass. There's going to be shitty losses in the NFL if this happens. But yeah, definitely improvements have to be made. Get pressure on Kirk Cousins. He'll make mistakes. They'll be without hopefully one of their best weapon, Jordan Reed. This is like a 6th concussion since college days. They're not going to mess around with that 3 days away from game day. I don't think he plays. It's a huge boost for us. One less target to worry about. Just take care of business and get this win because then, see the 5-0 Vikings the next week and then, 2 back-to-back division road games again, Giants and Cowboys. It's going to be a rough stretch. These are games you have to win. I don't want to be there at the end of the year and have, just be one game away and have that Lions or this game come back and bite us.
Yeah, and that's the first topic on the agenda is Jordan Reed. 6 concussion now. You got to put his health before anything. So he's not playing. Jay Gruden says he's still undecided. I don't think he's playing. And this is huge. This is not only Kirk Cousins' favorite target. He killed the Eagles last year in that Week 16 game. 9 catches, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Huge threat. And thank God, because I don't want to see Michael Kendricks on him the way Kendricks has been playing this season. Jesus fucking Christ, he's terrible. So that could potentially be a big loss. And, so let's talk about that a little bit further.
Yeah, the Jordan Reed concussion thing is huge for the Eagles. If Jordan Reed was playing this game, I think that the Eagles would really struggle. Like you said, you mentioned the stats from last year that he put up against us. The guy just always seems to dominate us. We have a tough time covering him. So I think with him hopefully being out of the lineup this week, it's really going to help the Eagles out a ton. Really, knowing about his injury, it really helps out my confidence heading into this game. And it'll probably show in my prediction because I think if, Jordan Reed was playing in this game, I would say that there's a good shot that the Redskins would have at winning this game. So, without the Redskins really having their top offensive weapon, it's really going to hurt them. So it's really a huge help for the Eagles.
Yeah, boost my confidence a lot too. And, just having that target not be there potentially is huge. They have other weapons, but, this is just one less we have to account for, and we can, concentrate on the other weapons for the Redskins. One thing we can't let happen is what happened last week. Theo Riddick coming out of the backfield and getting us. They have a similar back named Chris Thompson, and he can do some of the same things that Riddick does. And we just gotta, buckle down on those like we did in the second half of the Detroit game. Just don't let him beat us. Get to Kirk Cousins. Like I said, like we all said, Niles Paul doesn't really bother me too much. That's the backup for Jordan Reed. If he's not in there, he's been an Eagles killer, like Adrian mentioned the stats. So it's definitely a huge, huge plus for pulling out a victory in this tough road matchup. And, hopefully we'll see a bunch of Eagles fans down there. It's only a couple hours away in D.C. We travel well. I bet you'll be hearing a lot of Eagles chants down there.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely still have other weapons. You got Pierre Garçon, you got Deshaun Jackson, obviously. You got Jamison Crowder, you got the rookie Josh Dotson, Chris Thompson coming out of the backfield. But obviously Jordan Reed, that's the guy for them, for Kirk Cousins. That's his, safety blanket there. So, yeah, it's huge loss. And, it's definitely going to give the Eagles a couple more points, I think, that maybe they can win by. So, this is like, hey, you're talking about maybe, I don't know. He gives them what? Maybe 3 extra points? I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. So the other big storyline this week, Lane Johnson suspended, 10-game suspension finally into effect. That means Halapoulivaati Vaitai is going to get the start at right tackle. I said that so seamlessly and sexy. That was awesome. No stumbles. So he's going to get the start at right tackle. He's going up against Ryan Kerrigan. Good luck.
Oh, boy, yeah. Heading into this game, obviously, this could be a major point of concern. Big V, making his first career start, a guy who was a mid-round draft pick. It could be ugly. It could be very ugly. We just got to pray to God that Big V has learned from the preseason, and he knows that he has to get out of his stance now when the play occurs. The other thing that is, I guess, positive about this is that we do have a mobile quarterback, and that Carson Wentz is able to elude pressure if he has to. And, with Big V, starting at right tackle, it's possible that Carson Wentz might have to be running a lot. So, this is a game where we could maybe see Wentz's rushing stats padded a little bit, because I think he might need to take off on some plays and run. So, I'll tell you that I'll definitely be praying, because it could be ugly for Big V.
Hey, I'll take the Carson Wentz rushing stats. I'll help my fantasy team out. But one thing we're going to do to help Halapoulivaati Vaitai out is not bad.
Yeah.
He's going to be in a sandwich next to big boy Brandon Brooks, and I think Brent Selleck a lot of the time, have an extra chip at Kerrigan there to help him out. You have to. It's his first. He's a rookie mid-round pick, and it's his first start. You had the infamous shot from preseason game where he stayed in the stance, and Mike mentioned, that was like 2 months ago. I've heard good things improving. Obviously we haven't seen him yet perform, but word on the street is that he's learning in practice. He's learning from Jason Peters. One of the best, or was one of the best tackles in the league. So you can only hope that this kid can stick it out and be solid for this 10-game absence of Lane Johnson. And who knows if he pans out? He could be our future right tackle, and Lane Johnson switch over to left tackle. I think that's the ultimate goal, but, we just haven't seen him yet, so we have no idea if he's capable. But here it is, kid. You're front and center. Let's see what you got.
Right in.
Throw him right in. You got to learn somehow, so we won't find out any other way. Just do it.
Well, he sucked during the preseason. He was awful, just terrible. Oh, just bitter beer face everywhere. And they say he's improved during practice. Paul Domwich had this piece during the week, and Brandon Graham and all these players, they were saying that he's really, really improved. He's done really well against some of the first-team guys, some of the guys like Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, and Connor Barwin. That's all good and all. But we talk about practice, man. We talking practice. This ain't a game. So I got to see what happens when the lights get turned on bright. We saw what happened with Jalen Mills a little bit. So Jalen Mills had some struggles. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, you're going to have to help him out. You got the 13 personnel sets, the 3 tight end sets, so you can help him out with some chipping. You can help with the double team. We're not going to see Ryan Kerrigan and Vaitai on an island a lot. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. So you have to help him out. And obviously the Eagles right now, their offensive line looks pretty good. So you can afford to help him out because other guys I think can match up one-on-one. So Alan Barbary has been outstanding this year. Jason Peters, Kelsey still stinks, but Brandon Brooks has been good. So the O-line looks pretty good in general, and just gotta figure out a way to help Big V. So that's that.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a big test for us to help him out because it could be a real struggle. You really can't expect much from a mid-round draft pick starting so early in his rookie season. So I definitely think we're going to see some struggles from Big V. Honestly, this wasn't the way that I would have went about this. I was kind of surprised by the move that the Eagles deciding to start Big V. I really thought that they might move they might put Wisniewski starting at guard and slide Barbary out to right tackle. We're not there at practice. Seems like Big V has made some big strides in practice, but like you said, it is practice. I hope that he's made a lot of strides from the preseason because if he hasn't, then like I said, Carson Wentz is going to be running all day.
Yeah, I mean, a good thing we have Carson Wentz. So if they are bringing the blitz and, against on Big V's side, Carson Wentz is throwing the ball at a amazing pace against the blitz, over 75% completion percentage, multiple touchdowns. I mean, he can get rid of the ball quick. We've seen everything we need to see. Carson Wentz is legit. He can do it all. He can face the pressure in case it's in his face. We've seen that. So that's another thing that it's another point I wanted to make about a little alleviating some of that rookie issues with Big V is we have Wentz, and he's back there like a seasoned veteran, facing the blitz, facing pressure, and completing the ball at an enormous percentage and being very effective. So that's one thing we got going for us.
Yeah, we'll see how we move the ball against the Redskins. My thing's about to fall off. But, Josh Norman, obviously the big name there, got his big contract during the offseason. He's played really, really well. So he's been taking away the opponent's best receivers. But Jordan Matthews works from the slot. So he won't have to see Norman. They'll just, they're going to have a sacrificial lamb on Sunday. They'll just have Aguilar on Norman maybe. I don't know. Just whatever. Do that or something. But I expect Jordan Matthews maybe have a big game. It looks like Bashad Breeland's going to be back. So that means I think Quentin Dunbar might be back in the slot. I don't know who their slot cornerback is. But Jordan Matthews, I look for him to have a pretty big game. And they play cover 3. So in the cover 3, you can beat them along the seams. Zach Ertz is a guy that loves the seam. So I'm expecting a big game from Zach Ertz as well. We shall see. Ertz is a guy that always kills the Redskins. Had 15 receptions 2 years ago against them. Had a big game against them last year. So I think Ertz is the guy to watch. Matthews is the guy to watch. I think they can move the ball.
Yeah, when you look at this Redskins defense, with them bringing in, Josh Norman, he's really kind of changed the mentality on that defense. And you can tell that he has an impact because if you go and you look at the Panthers defense now, well, the Panthers defense this season all of a sudden isn't that, vaunted defense. They, with Josh Norman leaving and coming to the Redskins, just look at the two teams' records. The Panthers are struggling mightily right now. So obviously Josh Norman played a big part of that Panthers team. And maybe on Sunday, we have to do something with Swartz where he brings out some bats during the pregame warm-ups, maybe play some reverse psychology with Norman, give him some payback for when he brought out the bats against Odell Beckham last year. Maybe that's how we slow down Josh Norman. But, in this game, obviously trying to stay away from Norman as much as possible. But knowing Carson Wentz, I don't think that he's going to shy away from him. If he feels that he's got a play to be made, he's going to try to fit it in there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you make a good point about the comparison of the Panthers and Redskins and what Norman's brought. So obviously it shows in the 1-4 record by the Panthers, and then starting 2 rookie corners, and the Redskins, are 3-2 and kind of holding their own. I don't think Wentz is going to be scared either. He's going to read the defense, and he's going to make the best decision to move the ball down the field, whatever it is. Whether he runs the ball or throws it on avoiding Josh Norman or throwing it at him. I mean, I think Wentz will be fine. I really am excited to see how he comes back in a game after following a loss. His motto is, you want to go 1-0 every week. I think he does have a, very short-term memory in the fact that, last week is way behind him. That pick is out of the way behind him. He's already been moved on to the Redskins, and I think Carson's got it this week, and he's he'll bring us to victory. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, let's talk about Wentz even further then. Leads the NFL. Well, he's the highest graded passer in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. However you want to take those rankings, but dude, he's been phenomenal so far. And last week we saw a little something from him. He got down, showed a lot of composure, showed a lot of calmness, led the Eagles back. Unfortunately, I had the interception there at the end. But I mean, I really liked what I saw. So kudos to him, man. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's even better than we projected, and we loved him coming out. That's insane to think about.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Wentz is through those first 3 games, we didn't really have much adversity. And last week was the first week where we really saw Wentz and how he's going to deal with adversity. And, well, he did pretty well. He passed pretty much with flying colors. He was able to bring the Eagles back, gave them the lead. They probably would have won the game if it wasn't with that fumble from Ryan Matthews at the end. But besides that, Wentz played really well. And you can kind of see the progression with Wentz from week to week, and how they're incorporating some new plays into the playbook as the weeks go along. The one thing that we kind of got a little bit of a taste was last week was some of the design runs for Wentz, or some of the runs where he would instead of handing the ball off, he would keep it by himself and take off, and he would read the defensive end to see how they're playing the ball. So I think as the weeks go along here, we're going to start to see more of those design runs for Wentz. And the other thing we've seen is that Wentz has learned how to get out of bounds and not take those big hits. And, that's key for him, because those first 3 weeks he was taking some big pops, but he's learned that, he can't do that in the NFL. He's got to get out of bounds and play another down. But I think, with Wentz, I think you can start to see some more design runs. And I think that we're going to maybe see more of that this week. And like I was saying before, especially with Big V starting at right tackle, some of the runs might not be designed, but I think this is the game where we're really going to get to see his athletic ability.
Man, he just continues to check off all the boxes, every one. And to think back in the offseason, we wanted to trade back in the first round to maybe he would be there. Little do we know, we moved all the way up to 2 to get him. But I mean, what more can you say about this kid? He does it all, and he continues to show week by week a new test every week. The first 3 weeks were progressive tests. Home game, Browns, whatever. Road game, Monday night. Then blow out the Steelers, and then came back from put us in a lead, in a position to had to come back and put us in a position to win. Unfortunately, it didn't fall right, and we should have won the game if Matthews didn't fumble or some key drops from perfect passes from him in the end zone. But I think he'll be fine this week, and he's the man because he went back home to North Dakota with his boys, took the $1,000 bar tab plus a $500 tip. That's fine. He's a guy I want to party with.
Right.
Make it
rain, Carson. I love it. I love it. Dude, it's awesome. I was going to say something like fantastic. I completely lost train of thought. So that's a shame. But yeah, we'll move on to another topic. Talk about Ryan Matthews a little bit. Well, not really necessarily Ryan Matthews. There's a guy that needs to get more touches, and his name is Wendell Smallwood. Dude, so last week, I'm thinking like, all right, maybe he breaks out this game even further. He had like, what do you have, 17 carries for 95 yards against the
79.
79? I completely fucked that up. So, yeah, so he had a really, really good game against the Steelers. Really good one-cut runner. I mean, the way he hits the hole real quick. He's no nonsense. He's hitting that thing. One cut and go. And he's not flashy. He's a little bit boring. But, I mean, he seems like he gets 4 to 5 yards every single time he touches the ball. Then you got Ryan Matthews this year. He's averaging, I believe, 3.3 yards per carry, which is 34th out of 39 qualified running backs, which is just abysmal, obviously. And that comes a year after leading the NFL, 5.1 yards per carry. So I want to see more Wendell Smallwood. I don't know if we're going to, though. So, by the way, I remember what I wanted to say. Jeremy's going to like this. So I'm a Chip Kelly guy. You know, I don't hide it. I never wanted him fired. But I'll tell you this. I would rather have Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz than Chip Kelly and Marcus Mariota. How about that?
Okay. I don't know if I agree with you there.
What? You don't agree with me?
Colin Kaepernick said get up off his knee and start for us. You know, I got to evaluate that. So, Colin, get off your knee. Put your helmet on. Does it get around your afro? We're going to start you this week.
I can't. Like, when you do the Chip impression, I can't function. I can't do it.
Well, yeah, I obviously agree with you, but I was putting in the Chip voice that he doesn't.
I know.
Yeah. Chip doesn't agree with you.
Of course not. All right, let's get back to Smallwood, though. What are you guys' thoughts on what I said?
Yeah, I mean, he really impressed against the Steelers, and then last week nowhere to be found. So I would love for the Eagles, if they can, to really use split carries between Matthews and Smallwood. I'm at the point where I want to see Smallwood, start to get more carries and really carry the load with Matthews. At this point, Kenyon Barner, I mean, it is what it is. I'm fine with him getting a carry or two here or there, but with the way that Smallwood played against the Steelers, and with him being a rookie, I think it's time that we really start to, pick up his carries, see what he can do in this league. And it helps that we have Ryan Matthews, where Matthews can carry the load, but then you throw in some runs for Smallwood. So hopefully this week we can see more of Smallwood. I'm definitely, pulling for it. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully Doug Peterson has that in his playbook this week.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way Smallwood ran the ball against the Steelers, and they have always had a good defense. But I mean, who knows if that was some of the game being out of reach and where they, I don't know. We'll see. But obviously, he did look strong, the one-cut runner. But the thing with Doug Peterson is he speaks the truth, and when he says that Ryan Matthews is the guy, I think he's going to be the guy, and Darren has his role, and I really don't think unless he tweaks that ankle again, I don't know if we'll see much of Smallwood. I mean, I think he got one snap last week. I'd like to see him have more carries. It's nice that we have him back there in case of an injury, but barring any injury, I think Matthews and Darren are the top two roles.
Matthews has to get going this week. Redskins are worst run defense in the league, 5.1 yards per carry. So you got to get going against them, and that, obviously that sets up play action as well. So get that going a little bit. Got to run the ball, I think. So, all right, let's talk, the Redskins are kind of one-dimensional. They run the ball, and they're somewhat effective, but they're throwing it most of the time. And let's get to Kirk Cousins now. So he's got 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the season. I've watched some tape this week on Mr. Kirk Cousins, and I have not been impressed. He's basically what I thought he was. He stinks. He's fucking terrible. Redskins fans argued with me during the offseason. I told them he sucked. They didn't want to listen to me. Here's where he's been in trouble this year. He's locking his eyes on the receivers more than he should be, and defenders are simply reading his eyes and making plays on the ball. So sinking zone defenders have been a problem. Zone guys, so zone defense, you can get to him. These 3 of these interceptions that I saw are just right into the fucking hands of the defenders. It's awful.
Yeah, the problem, though, with Kirk Cousins is he always shows up to play well against the Eagles. And if the Kirk Cousins, the guy that played us twice last year, shows up, then the Eagles could be in trouble. You go and you look at Kirk Cousins' stats against the Eagles. He's played 3 games against us, and he's thrown 8 touchdowns. He only has 1 interception. So the guy played, just for whatever reason, he plays outstanding football against us, and that's what I worry about in this game. What alleviates my concern a little bit is him not having Jordan Reed there playing. That's going to help out the Eagles big time, because he's kind of like a security blanket for him. Where the Eagles could run into trouble is with the deep ball. The Redskins are definitely going to take their shots down the field. And, we're not talking about 30 or 40-yard passes. I mean, they're going to go for the big bomb. They're going to go for 60-yard passes to Deshaun Jackson, and the Eagles have to be ready for it. There's a good chance that they take, 2 or 3 of these shots throughout the game with Deshaun Jackson. So hopefully the Eagles are ready, because, that's an instant 7 points if they connect on one.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the stats. The 3 games he played against us tells me he's due for regression there.
Spit on it. I love it.
To Adrian's point, the heat seekers, we got 2 great safeties back there. If he locks on a target, I'm perfectly confident that a pick might fall into McLeod or Jenkins' hands. So, Jordan Reed being out, Jim Schwartz starting off looking so bad last game. I think he's got a game plan this week. Better start. So I think this is Kirk Cousins' time to show his shitty side.
We'll see, though. I am a little bit concerned. It looks like Leotis McKelvin may not play. And what kind of tells me that, he didn't practice today, but they promoted C.J. Smith from the practice squad today. So you're looking at Nolan Carroll, who has struggled so far, and Jalen Mills, who is he showed flashes, but he's also been beaten deep too. So that scares me a little bit. So they're going to have to pressure Kirk Cousins, and you're talking about one of the top 5 offensive lines in the league, I think, at least. I think their offensive line is very good. So Trent Williams, you got Morgan Moses. He's really underrated. He's a right tackle. So Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, Connor Barwin, they need to pressure him consistently. And maybe they can get some pressure in the middle as well. Obviously Benny Logan and Fletcher Cox. So I think this is a low-key key to the game. If they don't pressure Cousins, he's going to pick us apart, even without Jordan Reed.
No, you're exactly right. And, this was a huge key to the game that's kind of being overlooked, is this, battle in the trenches. Whoever wins the battle in the trenches is going to win this game. And like you mentioned, we're going to be thin in the secondary with McKelvin probably being out. So the Eagles can't play like they did in the first half against the Lions and just, take off for a half, because the Redskins will rack up more points than the Lions did. So Eagles got to come out ready to go on defense in this one. And, it's going to be a great battle between this Eagles defensive line and the Redskins offensive line. I'm really looking forward to that and seeing who can win that battle. But we got to get the pressure on Cousins, because if we let him sit back there and he has the time, his guys are going to get open, and he's going to find a way to get one or two bombs to Deshaun Jackson. So Eagles got to be careful in this game. They got to win the battle in the trenches, because if we don't, that's where Jim Schwartz's defense can kind of fall apart, and that's when the secondary gets picked on. So got to win the battle.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite phrases, and it's so true. Most of the time, whoever wins that battle in the trenches, comes away a winner in the game. If you win on the defensive side, you force a strip sack, or you force turnovers that way, and then you can run the ball and be powerful on the offensive side and get hold protection, and you'll move the ball well. I mean, it's just basic football there. And yes, we got Fletcher Cox has to earn his paycheck, continue to do that. He's playing at a great level. Benny Logan was nursing a calf injury. Hopefully he's okay. We got the edge rushers. That's one of our strong suits, our defensive line we talk about it all year. So this is going to be a huge battle, big battle of many, a dozen men there clashing in the middle. It's got to get pressure on Cousins, and like you guys said, Schwartz only rushes the four guys. Occasionally he'll blitz, but you got to get that push with our stud up front, our four studs up front. It just has to happen, and I think we'll be able to force Cousins to make mistakes, but it's imperative.
I think we can definitely bait Cousins into some bad decisions, especially like you said, you drop back 7 when you rush with 4. So you can kind of confuse him a little bit, and that's what's happened this year. I mean, you can kind of confuse him, and teams are kind of starting to figure him out a little bit. I don't know, but I saw some of these things last year too. It's just the interception totals just didn't warrant. I don't know. He just didn't throw interceptions, even though he had some overthrows that could have been intercepted. They were passes they could have gotten picked off. I know his completion percentage is high. I get that, but god damn, he misses a lot of open receivers. So that's my thing with him. And so there's that. All right, I guess we'll do predictions now. Predictions for the game. Who you guys got?
Well, I think that the key for the Eagles in this game is going to be establishing a running game early. I think that if they can establish the running game early, I think that's really going to open up the passing game for them. The Redskins are really hurting in the secondary right now. So I think that Carson Wentz could, possibly have a field day if they get that running game going early. But I still, this is an NFC East game. It's in Washington. This isn't going to be easy, but I'm going to say that the Eagles pull this one out 27-20.
Yeah, I got a similar score. I think we'll pull it out 24-17. It is going to be a battle. It's not going to come easy. They will. We're not going to, I don't think, shut them out. But I do think we win by a touchdown at least.
Yeah, I had 23-20 on my preview. That was before I knew about the Jordan Reed injury. Because obviously I knew he was going to be evaluated for concussion yesterday, but we didn't get the confirmation until today. So, I had 23-20. I'll say 23-16. Maybe it takes a touchdown off the board and gives them a field goal. So I'll say that. So we all have 7-point differences. Interesting. 23-16, 24-17, 27-20. And let us know in the comment section below. Who do you guys got? Who's going to win? All right, let us know. So there's that. Final thoughts before we get out. Unless there's any other topics I missed. I don't think I did. I think we got it all covered.
Yeah, I think we got it all covered. Obviously, this is a huge game. So,
Ron Brooks,
yeah, obviously. So, when I look at the rest of this Eagles schedule, what is all going to come down to if they want to get in the playoffs is it's going to come down to division games. And this is a start right here. They got to win this game. I think that, realistically, if we want to get in the playoffs, that we probably got to go 4-2 in the division. So we got to start off on a right note, and we'll see. This is Carson Wentz's first divisional game, so he'll get a taste of NFC East action. So let's beat those Redskins.
NFC East matchups are always great, and you're right. This is the first of 3 road division games coming up in the next month. right around that game with the Vikings at home as well. So, yeah, you figure you got to at least go 2-1 in these three games, and you got to start off 1-0 here in the division. NFC East is going to be a battle. It's better than we thought it would be this year. Yeah, you just Carson Wentz, keep doing your thing, bro. And I want to do a shout out to Mr. Chase Utley and the Dodgers in the Game 5 tonight. He had the game-winning hit the other night. So, pulling for Chase.
Chase Utley.
You are the man to beat up Bryce Harper because I hate Bryce Harper.
Everybody in Philadelphia hates Bryce Harper. He's a fucking piece of shit. Scumbag. He is. Oh, man. All right, here's my final thought. Dallas, Jerry Jones, please put Tony Romo back in. Please. Do it. Yes. Because I'll tell you what, Dak Prescott looks pretty damn good. And I don't want him out there anymore. So, yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. Cowboys look pretty good. I'm not going to lie. They scare me a little bit. Because here's what it is. It's obviously the offense is great. But, damn, Rod Marinelli, every single fucking year, he takes that defense, that crap on paper, and he just molds it together. And not that they're great, but he just works magic. And it's happening again. So they're 4-1. They look pretty good. I still think the Eagles are the favorites in the NFC East, but man, Week 17, it's going down. Jeez.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, like you said, I mean, the Cowboys are really playing outstanding right now. So, I mean, those two games against the Cowboys this game are going to be just so huge for the Eagles. I'd be massive if the Eagles could win both of those games. But like you were saying, let's pray to God that Jerry Jones does dumb Jerry Jones things and puts Romo in there when he's ready to go again, and they pull out Dak. Because that would be a blessing for the Eagles, the way that Dak is playing right now.
Well, Dak, you can say so many dirty jokes there.
You know, as soon as Romo comes back, I mean, Jordan Hicks is just going to knock him out again, and Prescott will be right back in there. So, the Tony Romo experiment might be very, very short-lived. But, Dak, he's being efficient. He's being smart. He's an athlete. He's making all the right decisions, and he's got an amazing running back in rookie Zeke running behind that offensive line. He looks like an absolute beast, just running 7 yards every carry. It seems like it's crazy. And I thought their defense, I wouldn't trust them, but yeah, they're not great. But like you said, Marinelli is putting them in the positions to at least keep them in games so the offense can win it for them. It's tough. So, but they also have to still face Pittsburgh and I think they play the Packers as well, and they have a tough schedule as well. So we'll see. It's going to be close. I think both Eagles and Dallas will be right around there that last week for like the 10th or 11th win or whatever it is, 9th, 10th, or 11th win to get the division.
Yeah, a bunch of Dak riders there in Dallas. Well, y'all can suck my Dak, I'll say that. So, with that being said, we are out. Mike Owens, Jeremy Burton. I'm Adrian FedQ. Go Birds! Need this one. Let's go get it. Peace out.
Later.
See ya.